Hello, welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic and a bit of X sums for us today by Zegresh, who hasn't featured on the channel in a little too long, I reckon. Actually, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to crack straight on with the puzzle today, maybe do a bit of advertising at the end if I remember. We will see about that. That will mess with the chapter headings, but you will be able to just not do any skipping if you normally do skip the intro stuff. So let's have a look at what we've got. We've got normal Sudoku rules apply. 1 to 9 will sit in every row, column and 3 by 3 box somehow. Headless arrows. The digit on one end of each line, I hope you can see these lines and they're sort of lemon yellow. Maybe I should try and supply another grid with different lines, but these are what Zegresh has chosen. The digit on one end of each line is the sum of the other digits on that line. Now I'm going to solve it in this, and you may just have to squint at your screen or take it out of dark mode or something to see the lines. So they're arrows, but we don't know, one end is the circle, and we don't know which end that is. We have to work that out. So it's either those two add up to that one, or those two add up to that one, for instance. In this case, those three, which could include repeats, add up to that one, or those three add up to that one. That's what we've got going on with the arrows that aren't arrowed. Now, outside the grid, if a clue is there, it gives the sum of the first X digits starting from the clue where X is the nearest. So if that's a 3, we're adding 3 digits here, and they all add up to 15, including the 3. If that's a 2, the first 2 digits add up to 11, including the 2. That's not the example given in the rule set, but that does not matter. We are going to crack on with the puzzle. Do give it a try on the first link under the video. I will talk about other links under the video at the end. Ooh, what happened there? Restart. Let's get cracking. Okay, so. Let's start by marking up the possible X's. So at the 11, 11's quite an interesting one. It could start with a 2 or a 3, but it can't start with a 4 because the only way to get 4 digits to add up to 11 is 1, 2, 3, 5, which doesn't include that 4. Now, 15 can't start with a 2 because the next digit would be 13. So 3 is possible, 4 is possible. 5 is also possible, but only if the sequence or the set of digits were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 10 begins with a 2 or a 3 or a 4. Now, okay, let's look at this arrow that the 10 is on, because that seems to be the place to look. Because there's an arrow and a clue and it's all together. It clearly cannot be a 2 here, because then the first 2 cells would add up to 10. Well, which is fine. I mean, they would be 2 and 8. But how would that arrow function? It just couldn't exist. So that's not a 2. Now, if that was a 3, the arrow will add up to 10, because those 3 cells will add up to 10. But 2 of the cells have to add up to the same as the digit at the other end. So 10 divided by 2 is 5. This would go 3, 2, 5. That is definitely one possible conclusion. If that's a 4, well, then these cells are 1, 2, 3, 4. Then the arrow has to add up to an even number in total, because the circle will be the same as the sum of the other digits. And that sum won't be 10, because 10 will be the sum of those 4. So I think the digit excluded, if that's a 4, will have to be another even digit, and that will be a 2. And then these will be a 1, 3 pair, so it would go 4, 1, 3, 2. So if this is a 3, the circle is there. If this is a 4, it is the circle. I can't leave that 2 pencil marked in the grid. I have reduced these to their possibles, and they are disappointingly multifarious. I thought we might come down to just one possible summation there. I don't think the arrow in the same box is helpful, so I'm going to have to look, I suppose. Is it at the 11 or is it at the 15s? I'm going to look at the 11. If that was a 2, that would be a 9. Does that do anything to this arrow, which couldn't have 2 or 9 on it? No, not really. If that was a 3, these two would add up to 8 without being 3, 5. I don't really see how that helps. Okay, I'm going to look at this one because it's got some parts of an arrow on it. Now, if this is a 3, these two add up to 12. What's going on then? They would be 4, 8 or 5, 7. And what does that do to the arrow? I don't think it really causes it problems. The arrow could go 3, 4, 7 or 3, 5, 8. The 3 is never going to be the circle if it was a 3. So 3 seems very possible. 4, I don't really know. Okay, I'm a bit stuck here. Maybe this one, which was going to run into an arrow. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, maybe that's what's going on. So if this was a 5, it can't be a 5 because those cells, those cells would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that would be broken. Okay, so we could narrow this down a bit. It's not a 4 because if the first 4 cells add up to 15, with the first one being 4, those 3 add up to 11, but we've just worked out every arrow is even in total. So that is a 3, and this now can't be a 3. But what's more, these two add up to 12. Well, and they're either 4, 8 or 5, 7. The circle is not going to be here because it would have to be a 12. So this is the circle. This is the higher digit. And it cannot go 8, 4, or we would bounce into another 4. So it must go 7, 5, and then 2 to make the arrow work. So we've got the X sum to work. The first 3 cells add to 15. We've made the arrow work because 7 is the sum of 5 and 2. This digit becomes a 1, and that is telling us this couldn't be a 3 now because that would have to be a 2. So this is a 4. That's a 3 and the arrow works. That's a 2 and the X sum works. Oh, that's a lovely start. This is just classic Zegresh, isn't it? So we get a 4 in one of those cells. These digits are from 6, 8, 9. Now, something I learnt over here is that the central digit of a 3-cell line can't be the highest because that wouldn't work for the arrow. So this is not a 9, and it's also not an 8 because you would need a 1 on this arrow to make it 1, 8, 9, and we've lost the 1 in the box. Isn't that neat? So that's a 6. It can't add to 3, so it must add to 2 to make 8, and now we know this digit is 9. Oh, what a brilliant puzzle. Right, that's a 4 and a 1. I'm pretty sure this cannot be the circle of this arrow. So the circle is there. Is that, I think it's probably worth pen tooling the circles in. So the circle is there. The circle of life on that arrow is there. The circle is there on that one. Have a feeling, yeah, well, now we know this is not the circle because those 2 digits would have to be under 5 and all of those have been used up. This is the circle, and what's more, this digit in the middle of an arrow is at least 5. So that's 5, 6, 7 or 8. This is higher, 6, 7, 8 or 9. But hang on, this already had to be at least a 3. Well, it can't be 5 now. The only way it could be 4 is if that was 5 and this was 9. What would happen to the X sum? Oh no, well, it wouldn't quite work. It would nearly work. I was going to say, I don't see a problem with 4, 5 and those two adding up to 6. But actually, I do see a problem with that. Because they would have to either be 1, 5 or 2, 4. But we've used 4 and 5 in that instance. So that's a 3. These two, well, that's either 5 or 6. This is now either 8 or 9. And these 3 add to 15. That can't be a 6, or this would have to be another 6. So that is a 5. This is a 7. On the arrow in the circle, that's an 8. And we are rocking and rolling. 6, 7, 9 to place in the column. That one can't be a 7. This is a lovely puzzle. I mean, I really, really, really like how this works. Now, I do know there is no 2 on this line anywhere because of that. So these 3 digits, which can include a repeat, are going to add to that digit, but without using a 2. If they were all different, Oh, they could be 134 or 135. Okay, I may have been assuming that that would be helpful without realizing it. Oh, these two are a 5 and a 7. That's just Sudoku in box 3. 2 is in one of those cells in box 9. Okay, I'm being tempted. Oh, but look, we got rid of a 3 there. That can't be a 3. This could be a 5, except this digit would be in the sum of 5 digits, wouldn't it? And this has to be the circle for its line. And if that was a 5, the highest it could be is 4, and 4 is not high enough for 3 digits that don't include a 2, especially when 2 of them can't be a repeat. So that is not a 5, that is a 4. This is still going to have to be quite high. We've just worked out it can't be 4 or lower. Could it be 5 with 3, 1? You see, in theory it could have been 5 if this went 1, 3, 1, but in practice, because of that 3, it can't be. So this is at least a 6. What I'm trying to get at is these two cells, because this group adds up to 15 by the X sum. Can I rule out 6? That would be a nice thing to do. I don't think I can, because this could go 1, 4. Ah, no, that can't. Oh, look, this sees 1, 2, 3, and 4 when we count the triply thing. So that is at least a 5. So this can't be a 6, because there are 2 digits to add. I don't think this can be a 4 anymore, because 5 plus 4 there, plus a 1 minimum there, takes us too high. So that's definitely a 1 now. Now, this can't be 6. That was the point. And now, it cannot be 9 because of this sum. We're really narrowing it down. This is either a 1, 2 or a 1, 3 pair to make up this 15 sum with 4 and either 7 or 8. Now, with a 7 or an 8 there, does this have to be a 1 now? Yes. This can't be a 2. If it was a 3, that would have to be no higher than 4. So this is a 1. And that just narrows this down to 5 or 6 for now. Now we know there's a 1 in those cells. So we know there's a 1 over here. Now this arrow, okay, this one is seeing a 2 and a 1. So the minimum that the 2 cells that are being added can add up to is 3 plus 4 equals 7. That's not quite as useful as I'd hoped. Maybe I need to think about this again. Haven't thought about that one in a long time. Lots of the clues are fulfilled now. I suppose not this one. Maybe maybe there's something going on. If that was a 5, this would be a 7. Oh, would this get hard to fulfill at all? Because you'd only have 3, 4, and 6 as digits low enough. It would, if that was 5 and 7, this would have to be a 3, 6, 9. If that was 6 and 8, would this have to be 3, 4, 7? No. Yeah, I think it would. No, it could be 4, 5, 9. Wow, there are various possibilities. Okay, I don't know the answer there. I'm going to have to find somewhere else to crack on. Let's have a think about this being a 3. Because those two would add up to 8. And previously they couldn't be 3, 5. Now they can't be 7, 1. If that's a 3, those two are 2, 6. And if that's a 2, this cell is a 9. Now, can this be, I think it, ooh. Interestingly, that can't be a 2 anymore, I'm going to say. Because if this went 3, 2, 6, how would you complete this line? Not with 1, 7 because of that, and not using a 2 or a 3. So that can't be 2. Oh, this hasn't quite resolved it. Either this goes 3, 6, 2, or just 2, 9. Oh, I'm looking at this digit now. Again, the center of one of these arrows, these headless arrows. And this one is at least 4. Now it can't be 8 because we can't put a 1 on the line. So this digit is definitely 4 or 6. I'm sort of considering that if it was 6, that would be a 9 and that would be a 2. Also, this would be a 5 and a 7. I mean, I think it does all hang together. Maybe there's a problem if it's a 4. No, there really isn't then. These central digits on the line, they're very, very important. It's a realization that I've come to very gradually. Do I need to think about this? I haven't really thought about this one at all because I thought it was so open-ended. If this digit is low, it could only be 3. It doesn't feel that interesting, actually. I'm still not really getting anywhere with that one. I think what's happening is happening in this column, but I can't quite work out what is happening in this column. So we've either got 5 and 7. And then I think this has to be 3, 6, 9. I think we worked that out. Then that would be an 8. Now, that is almost a big problem. This is quite interesting. Let's just explore this. So if that was a 5, 7 pair, this has to be 3, 6, 9 down here. I'm pretty sure about that. And then this digit, which is 8 or 4, can't be 4, it must be 8. Now, on this line, you would assume 8 was in the circle, but there is no odd digit. Well, sorry, that's not true. Oh, gosh, it's more complicated than I realized. This can't be a 5, 3 pair because of those. It can't be a 7, 1 pair because of that. It also can't be a 2, 6 pair with 8 there because this cell would be broken. However, I've got the additional problem that 8 doesn't have to be the circle on this headless arrow. This could go 8, 1, 9. I can't see the problem with that. However, again, he says however for a ridiculous number of times in the video now. If that was a 9, it would be looking at this cell, which would have to be a 6. And then suddenly this 369 cage doesn't, 369 arrow doesn't work because that would be a 4 and there'd be no room for a 4 on the arrow. So that is a fascinating conclusion, drawing on all of those cells to prove, maybe not that one, drawing on all of those cells to prove that 517 doesn't work here because it forces that to be a 6. And once you put 8 here as a result, you can't make this top arrow work. Wow, that's brilliant, Segresh. I love that. So this is not 517. This is definitely 618. And that 6 is looking at this cell, which is a 4. But this can either be 347 or 459. So we are very far from being done. This digit now is 3, 5, 7 or 9, and I don't even want to play about with that. I want to look at this row. I want to consider this being a 6 and this being a 2. Let's think about that. If this was 3, 6, 2, what happens here? It can't be, it's a pair separated by 2 in term, both literally and mathematically. It can't be 1, 3, it can't be 2, 4, it can't be 3, 5, it can't be 4, 6, it can't be 5, 7. It can't be 6, 8 because we're positing a 6 there. And it can't be 7, 9. There is no way to do it as 3, 6, 2. That's fabulous. So this is definitely 2 and 9. Now I can place a 2 here. Now, as always in this puzzle, when you choose one of the options, it doesn't necessarily mean that everything else gets easy. This digit seems by Sudoku to be 1, 6 or 8. And I don't know, I'm not spending time on that. I'm going to spend time in this row now because this has just become totally free to be anything it likes virtually. 9, 4, 7, 5, 3, 2. These are from 1, 6 and 8. So this is the difference between two of those. Well, it's not a 6 and 8, so one of them is a 1. This is now a 5 or a 7. Well, it can't be a 7, so that's a 5. And this is a 1, 6 pair. This is a very good puzzle. This is a 2, 8 pair. But the headless arrow stops us from doing anything much with that. Now, in this column, nothing really happened. In this box, 4, that's a 3-4 pair. This is 7, and that's 8. This is a 4 in column 2. Let's focus on column 2 for a bit. 1, 3, 6, 8 still to go. Ah, this 8 forced this pair to be a 1-2 pair. Yes, it did. That happened ages ago, I suppose, when we got that. Now, I've got, look at these at the top. So this can't be a 3, or we would go 3, 5, 8, or 3, 3, 6. They don't work. If that was a 5, this is a 1, and that's a 6. If this is a 7, that's definitely a 1. If this is a, yeah, this digit, oh, it's seeing 2, 3, 4, and 5, but the biggest difference between those is 3. So that is definitely a 1. It's funny that I still can't really see how to look at this puzzle properly. That 6 has given us a circle now. Yeah, I've marked all the circles I can. Now, this 1 says that there is a 1 difference between those. I don't know how to deal with that. 3, 4, 2, 6, 2, 5, 1. Let's look at this column. That's 8 or 9. These are from 7, 8, 9. The first column, one of those is a 5. And one of those is a 2. Still left not knowing if, well, okay, I don't know if this is a 3-7 combo or a 5-9 combo, but there is only one way around for each of those to go. This box needs a 6 in one of those cells. I don't know, all the X sums are done, aren't they? Yeah, they're fully complete, that's fine. Okay, in this column, this is odd, I know that, and it's not 1. Okay, I'm going to have to look at this arrow, to my surprise. But I don't know that that's helping. Okay, what can this be? It can't be 2, 4, 5, or 8. 1, 3, 6, or 7. I know I can't write 9 in there. I don't know, this arrow's got so many possibilities. I'm still quite uninterested in it. Maybe some Sudoku. How about that in a Sudoku puzzle? But I don't know where to go. I don't know how to do the Sudoku. 2 and 8. 2, 6, 8, 7, 5, 3. These are from 1, 4, 9. 5, 7, 9, 2, 3. Oh, that's a naked 6. There it is. It really is Sudoku. You have to find a naked single. So what does naked mean? It means it sees all the other Sudoku digits, either in this case, in its column or row. 5, 7, 9, 2, 3, 4, 1, 8. Row 5, column 9 is a 6. That takes 6 out of those cells and puts it there. This is from 1, 4, or not 9 in this case. Now, 3, 5, 7, 9 along here. That one can't be 7 or 9 because of the pair in the box. 5, 9, 7, 6, 2, 3. These are from 1, 4, 8. That one can't be a 1. Maybe this isn't actually going to have done that much. That is sometimes the case with naked singles. They solve themselves and only have 1 or 2 ramifications. And it hasn't impinged on this arrow. I don't think anything is limited. Am I missing something with this arrow? I might be now. Six is in one of those two. That's not interesting. 4, 1, 2, 8, 3, 5, 7, 9. Ah, something's going on here. One of those is definitely an 8. It's Sudoku, really, at this point. One of those is a 3. We know that. There's a 1 there and a 1 there. So one of these two is a 1. And one of these two is a 4. Now, come on, something with this arrow now. If that was high, 8, this would be 1, 2, 5, or 7, and it can't be 1. If this was the low digit, 2, well, 8 could also be a low digit, putting a 9 there. That's got to be borne in mind. But if this was a low digit 2, that would be 3, 5, 8, which it can't be, or 9. I mean, I'm really none the wiser there. That can't be 6 anymore, that much we've got. So this is definitely odd, and that's definitely even. The whole arrow has to add up to even. So this has to be odd, and it's not 1. Right, well, I mean, it's not much, but now these 3 are all odd. Wasn't this one odd as well? Yes. Look at that, parity in the middle box suddenly. That is the 3, 5, 7, 9 combination. Now I can suddenly fill in 2 and 4 and 6. Parity. Who thought that parity was coming to the fore in this puzzle? Not I. Now that's become a 3. This is not 8. We've got 5, 7 and 9 to place in row 4. Only one of them can be a 7. That's there. That's a 7, 9 pair. So that gives me 5 and 3. This is 1 or 4, which is a pair with that. 5 is looking across there. That's a 9. This is a 5. That finishes box 4. Is that our first box completely finished? It is. Thank you. 8 there, but that we don't know where the circle is. So all I know is that's 7 or 9, but that's a pair. And this now also sees a 5, so that becomes 3. What a fantastic puzzle. Again and again, this is doing different things that you don't expect a puzzle this straightforward in outline to be. So that's an 8. Let's put a circle in there. Still don't know about this one, and it's... Oh, hang on. I've written that the wrong way round. Right. We go back. I could see an 8 looking at... Oh, no. What has happened here? I've got 2 1s in this row. That doesn't feel... I've had them since the beginning. That doesn't just feel bad. It feels appalling. Look how far back that happened. I put that 1 in ages and ages ago. And I think it just came from a wrong assessment of what digits were missing in row 2. That's an absolute shocker, isn't it? Look how long ago that happened. I mean, does any of the logic I did after that stand up? It'll be very interesting to see if we can sail through when I correct this. Look how long ago it was. This must have been in the first 5 minutes. Look, that's a wrong pair up there. Let's keep going back till when I first put the double 1 in the row. It must have been in the first, well, no, I'll stick with 5 minutes, but look at that. We got to this point, everything was fine, and then I put a 1-4 pair in there. That is a 4-8 pair, and that is really, really different. So, do I know the path now? Do I know the path, having done this puzzle sort of once? That couldn't be a 3. And now I've said this had to be high, and this is suddenly turning into a problem. That's a 5-7 pair, so this isn't a 5. Now, if that was a 4, those 3... Oh, this has to be at least 5. And doesn't this now... This has to be the circle. And the biggest difference between those is 4. So the difference is either 3 or 4. So that bit's still right. Now, if that was a 3, it can't go 3, 6, 6. If that was a 4, this would have to be a 5, and you can't make up those two. So that's still right. 3, 5, 7, and that is an 8 in the circle. Ah, so proud of what I was doing, and it was such bobbins. Oh dear. Now, can I still do this? Was it that next or was it this? Ah, you see, that might have got in the way. Or did I look at this? No, I think it's probably this next. If this went with a 3 here, that couldn't be 3, 5 or 1, 7. It would have to be 2, 6. This can't be a 6. because that would be a 2. So this couldn't be 2817 or 39. So 362, does that still leave the problem that there are no 2 pairs? 36275 would be unavailable. So 13 wouldn't work. 25367 are unavailable. The only digits available are 1, 4, 8, 9, and no pair of those has a difference of 2. So that cannot be 3. That's still true, because that can't be 2 or 6. Fascinating. Right. So that bit still worked. Now, what did I do next? Well, I definitely worked on this next. It's still true that this line can't have a 2 on it anywhere. But that seems a lot less interesting now that I don't know that that's a 1. Yeah, I discovered that that was a 1, didn't I, when it couldn't have been. That's a 679 triple. I'm going to keep an eye on this cell in case it suddenly becomes a naked single again. Oh, well, this is a very different puzzle now. There's a 3 up there somewhere. 92735. That is 1, 6, or 8. That's not interesting. I probably do have to think about this. If that's an 8, it has to be the circle. And these would have to add up to 8 without a 2. They would be 1, 3, 4. Oh, that's quite interesting. Then this line wouldn't work because the 2 lowest digits would be at least 5 and 6. So that's not an 8, that's a 4, and it's not the circle because you can't make those add up to 4. So we found the circle again in this cell. Now that's good because that means this can't be 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So that's a 4. This now is adding at least 1 and 3 here. So this is 8 or 9. And this can't be a pair. Oh, could this be 4, 1, 4 to make a 9? It could. Yes, it could. If it's an 8, that is 1, 3 in that order. This is always a 1. This is a bit different now. Well, because I didn't have a 1 in one of those cells. Now, that is 3 or 4, and this can't therefore be 3, 4 adds to 7. This must be at least 3, 5 adds to 8, and the circle is going to be 8 or 9. It can't be 3, 5 adds to 8, because the middle digit would have to be 3 or 5. So it must add to 9. And this is now an 8, therefore, and that's a 3. And now it is 4, 5 adds to 9, with a 4 in the middle. And now this is a different puzzle, but still quite interesting, I hope you find. So we've got 6 or 7 there, 6 or 7 there. Now, if that's a 1, this would have to go 1, 6, 7. If that's a 6, it would go 6, 1, 7. And if that's an 8, it's not allowed to go 8, 2, 6 because of that cell. So it would go 8, 1, 7. So there's always a 1 in one of these cells. But, so what possibilities have I said? 6, 1, 7 and 8, 1, 7. There's always a 7 as well, so we get a 5 in the corner. Probably not going to help. Now, how's that doing? It's this one, isn't it? The X sum needs a 2 and a 1. There we go. And now this is a naked single 6, just as before. That's fabulous. 3 in this row is there. These are from 5, 7, 9. That's not a triple. Now, we're not going to get the whole parity thing going on here, I suspect. But I'm going to keep an eye out for it just in case. It's weird what can emerge that is not part of the actual given path, even though it looks like it must be. 3, 5, 7, 4, 9. Right, these are from 1, 2, 6, 8. No, they don't include 2 because of that. So again, we have this issue of this being 2, 5, or 7, and it can't be 2 or 7. So that's a 5 as the difference between those, which must be 1, 6. This is now a 2, 8 pair. Oh, no, it's not a 2, 8 pair. We've got an 8 at the top of the grid. So that's a 2. This is a circle. 5, 9, 4, 2, 8, 6. This is 1, 3, or 7 by Sudoku. This is therefore 9, 5, or 3, but it can't be 3. So that seems to be 9 or 5, and that's a triple. So we're not using the parity thing. 5, 6, 7, 9. That's a 4, that's a 1, that's a 2. 5, 9, 4, 8, 2. That's a 1, that's a 6, that's a 3, 7 pair. That's become a 9, that's a 5. That's 1, 4, 8, 7 and 3, 9 and 4, 1 and 8, 5 and 4. We are flowing a bit here. 6, 7, 9. I can put in 7, then 6, then 9. 3, 8, 5 here. 3, then 5, then 8. Look at that. This is 4 or 8. No, that has to be 8. That's 4. So I think this now has to be 1. Remember, otherwise we're breaking that cell. 1, 7. This is 2. That's 8. That's a naked 6. Another one in the puzzle. That's a 3, 9 pair. This is 2 and 9. That's 6 and 1. Well, I'm glad I didn't just give up on this puzzle. I mean, I should have done, because I was a numpty and a fool. 7, 3, 7, 5, 3, 9. And it worked in a different way from what I thought. Well, some bits were the same, some bits were different. I used to set Sudoku, says Zegresh. I still do, but I used to too. Thanks for solving. Okay, thank you for that message. And I did go off piste. Why is the puzzle called off piste? Because it knows Mark is going to lose the thread completely. That terrible pencil marking in the first 5 minutes absolutely floored me. But a complete rewind got us done. And lots of the useful thinking, as I mentioned, had occurred. So it wasn't quite as hard the second time through. Fabulous stuff. Thank you for watching. Well, fabulous by Zegresh, terrible by me, but that happens sometimes, and it's still a video. I will see you again. Oh no, I was going to advertise, and I'm going to. So if you check the other links under the video, you can find your way to Patreon, where Duality 2 is the brilliant hunt by the Skunk Works, with all of the puzzles that have double value markings in the grid. It's great fun. There is other stuff on our Patreon as well. We highly recommend it, as we always do. And of course, there are all of our apps now, including Fog of War, the brilliant Fog of War app. Do check it out, please. And all of our other apps. You can get to them on the links under the video, as well as our merchandise. Get yourself a mug, perhaps. And SVEN'S Sudoku Pad. It's been a pleasure talking to you today. Sorry about the mess up, but honestly, I'm not really bothered. You can sneer at me, but we got there in the end. That's all that matters to me. See you again next time. Bye for now.